What's going on, guys? Running it back with another replay for you, and this is a little bit of a companion piece video from my most recent tier list, where I just wanted to show off what the Exalted Bloodthirster can do. This is going to be a victory for me, just to spoil it in advance, but I really want to show you what Exalted Bloodthirsters are capable of. Don't have a super huge toolkit here for him. Deathbringer and Bellow of Fury. Very good choices opening up with the Skull Cannons. Skull Cannons actually do pretty good damage to the Butchers of Kalkengard since they have the regen. You can kill their models pretty capably, taking one down there, opening up, and getting some good damage on the Bloodbrute Behemoth here. Actually smacking it in the face as well, taking a little HP off of it, racking up a little bit of a value lead here. Marauders engage in the front, and over the top comes the Exalted Bloodthirster. Just absolutely chewing through this unit, man. Racking up multiple kills with each of his breath attacks and swings here. Very good at killing infantry models, actually, with the collision damage that he's got now. And 4,000 mass, he just pushes right out of those Ungor Spear Herd. Bloodbrute Behemoth is chasing him down, but I think my opponent thought that I was just going to get back up into the air. Instead, I stick around on the ground with the Ungor Raiders for a little bit longer. Pulling out, realize that I'm running into the Bloodbrute Behemoth, and then push right away, and I'm able to escape for the most part. My opponent, it disengages a little, unfortunately for him, at the worst possible moment, and misses the opportunity to get a bunch of damage by catching my guy on the ground here. Malagor getting back up in the air right alongside the Bloodthirster, looking for a good opportunity to engage there. The Chaos Knights of Khorne run in and just flatten this Ungor herd. Good value from them. Skull Cannons ripping apart the Khorne Gors, which is really good value, and now going to be turning their attention to the Ungor Raiders here. Good focus fire with Skull Cannons can really turn fights quite quickly for you as Khorne. You can see here getting a nice splash in. 14 models killed immediately. Next shot comes in, also does a bunch of damage, wrecking the Ungor Raiders, taking them down to about half their HP already. Marauders following up the break on the Ungor herd, just chipping them down. Khorne Gors and the Chaos Knights looking to screen, while the other unit of Khorne Gors I have do engage against my opponent's very weakened unit here. These guys absolutely screwed up right now, taking a lot of damage. Malagor does dodge the Exalted Bloodthirster, who tried to land on that old boy. Wasn't quite able to make it happen. Bloodletter's doing some nice work here. Get hit by an upgraded Doom and Darkness, though. Very interesting spell choice. It does lower leadership quite significantly. Minus 16 in a radius. And you can see these Marauders have a ton of HP and are literally about to break already. Fighting Gore Herds, so they are taking some significant damage. Bloodletters do rout one of the Ungor Raiders. And here we go, Exalted Bloodthirster lands with Deathbringer, and just in 2 swings chunks Malagor down by about a third of his HP. Big damage there, but do need to pull out. Honestly, though, that was a great usage of Deathbringer, and one of the reasons why it's such a strong ability. 871 weapon strength on this guy right now. Absolute murder machine. Khorne Gors get on top of the Butchers of Kalkengard, really nice for me, and I am going to turn around, try and swing at some Sentis, but then decide I should just keep pushing away. Don't want the Butchers to be trying to flatten my guy here. One Bloodletter dealt with, but we do have the Chaos Knights screaming through, getting on top of the Ungor Raiders in the back here, while the Bloodletters follow all of that up. Skull Cannons looking to move in, lots of Khorne Gors on the field. I'm taking a little bit of damage on my Exalted Bloodthirster here, and definitely don't want to leave him engaged in this combat for too long. Definitely want the Khorne Gors to do the majority of the work here. Actually using the shots from the Skull Cannons, so I targeted this guy deliberately. Skull Cannons are actually pretty accurate at this range against SCs. They do quite a bit of damage. The Bloodbrute Behemoth I saw screaming over towards my Exalted Bloodthirster. Exalted Bloodthirster's a little slower than this guy on the ground, actually. I know it says he's only got 61 speed versus the 90 here, but his foot speed is closer to, like, the 60s in his own right. I knew I was probably going to get caught here trying to push through a bunch of stuff, so I tried to use the Skull Cannons to stagger this guy. Actually, works out pretty nicely for me. Getting a big value lead, man. This value from the Skull Cannons is really nice. The Corn Gores are just all over the field and just racking it up, man. They're fighting all the perfect targets for them. Malagor trying to survive right now. Really good micro from my opponent. Landing him on the ground to get away from the Furies. The Furies are going to land here. I'm not quite paying attention to that right now. I am cleaning up other areas of the battlefield. Corngor's over here doing really nicely. Chaos Knights just running rampant over the front line with 240 kills. Just destroying Ungor herds, Warhounds, some Gore herd, Ungor raiders, just about everything. Taking a bunch of damage. Fleshhound's going to come in and try and stop the momentum of the Bloodbrute Behemoth, while in the back we get another isolation on Malagor here. Mally looking the worse for wear, taking a series of blows here, just getting absolutely trounced currently. Is terrified, and leadership barely hanging on, does actually break. And now it's death's bed for that poor fellow, just really having a terrible go of it. Sword of Corn comes down on the Gore Herd, just obliterates them. Literally almost one-shots the entire unit. And the Corn Gores here do have their Unbreakable for a few more seconds. Are going to be able to hold in here and probably grind down the remainder of that unit. Malagor taking another swing there and popping Deathbringer now that it's off cooldown. Malagor has 736 HP here. And we'll see what's going to happen from this point. One freaking swing just killed Malagor. 700 HP. 783, and mind you, he's being poisoned right now, so... was a little debuff. 1,757 value on that guy. Terror routes have been pretty clutch for me. And just being able to goon out the Flying Lord there. Malagor is a really good option against Khorne, but... Exalted Bloodthirsters, man. I'm telling you, with Deathbringer, all your opponent has to do is slip up one time, and you can just absolutely ruin their game. Bloodletters, still maneuvering around. Good value on them. Corngors have helped pretty much finish off the Butchers of Kalkengard, who have not been able to find a home this game. These guys are one of the best Beastmen units in the game. They are incredible, but I do think against Khorne they can struggle a little bit. Their terror is really awesome. You can't be too reckless with these guys, though. Regen does make them pretty weak to fire damage, and, you know, they're your heavy hitter. They cost 1,600. You need to get your value out of them, and Abdul Razak has just not been able to, unfortunately, here. Big lead right now. Chaos Knights still going absolutely insane on the high ground here. Finding more Ungor Raiders to run over. That's really all these guys have been doing, is just flattening over the Beastman Chaff infantry. A couple of Gore herds as well, and some Ungor Raiders. And just feasting upon them, dude. I mean, they have single-handedly given me several army abilities. Not to mention all of the kills on a lot of my other units. Just really significant value lead here that I'm just further compounding on thanks to the Skull Cannons over here, who are just deleting this Corngor unit that did finish off one of my vulnerable Marauder units there, but not much longer for this world, probably. Even with the anti-large bonus that the Corngors have, Skull Cannons with the physical resistance and good anti-infantry qualities should be able to clear the remains of that unit out, especially now that their Fury of the Skull Throne is already procced. They'll just rout pretty much instantly after that fight is over. Trying to save my Bloodthirster here, did land, and the Centaurs of Tzeentch came out, along with the Bloodbrute Behemoth, to get after me. Fleshhounds, Bloodletters, Bloodbeasts, all stopping up the momentum of the Beastman units here. While the Exalted Bloodthirster just walks away casually, gets back up in the air, is going to be looking for a new opportunity to get some damage in and go fight. The Bloodbrute Behemoth has been a great unit for my opponent. The problem is that it's very good against single targets, right? It needs to be fighting big, expensive SEs to really pay for itself. It's okay against infantry. But especially when the enemy infantry are like Corngores and Bloodletters and even just like basic Corn Marauders have pretty high melee attack to get through the low melee defense of this thing. It can't really sit in any fight for too long, really does need to stay mobile. The issue is that it just hasn't been able to save any of the infantry or mobility pieces of the Beastmen that have just been getting absolutely canned this whole game. Chaos Knights hanging out back here, don't really have much to do with them right now. Kind of forgetting about them, as well as these Furies. Both of these units working in tandem have done a really good job of clearing out a lot of chaff and given me the battlefield control that I need to really get here in the late game and just close this game out. Beautiful breath attack there. That is the power of the breath attack. Did get about 15 kills on that Corngore unit, helped break their leadership. Really awesome stuff, man. Oh, I love the Exalted Bloodthirster. I've really warmed up to it, especially after some of the buffs it's gotten with collision attacks and other cool things. It has improved significantly. And you can see here, it's just doing the work of the Dark Gods here. Landing in this pit fight immediately terrifies everything in the blob. Centaurs of Tzeentch and the Ungor Spearherd running for their lives, really struggling without Malagor on the field. Really poor Beastman leadership coming into full focus here. And big numbers disadvantage right now, and Abdel is going to be calling the game. Really well played, though. Did a very good job in some areas of the game, but I think that my build was just a little too juicy for this Beastman force. The Bloodbrute Behemoth is a very expensive monster, and it didn't get its value back. It was definitely going to, but when it's the only thing left on the field and it's just continually getting kited around, that's just a really rough feeling. You don't want to see that going on. Skull Cannons got good value. They were well on their way to getting their 1100 back. This was honestly a pretty short game. Really thanks to the sniping on Malagor from the Bloodthirster. This guy was just an unholy terror, and the Beastmen had no answers for him. Not like they really have a lot of anti-large flying options, really. I mean, Malagor is their only flying lord, and then they've got Harpies and Manticores, and that's really it, so they're pretty vulnerable to aerial units. That's why you see Valkia a lot in this matchup, because Valkia is very safe up in the sky. But honestly, I'm starting to feel like maybe this is a matchup where the Exalted Bloodthirster might be a little bit better, just for the terror bombing and having Deathbringer and the breath attacks. Only got one good breath attack in there, but it got me about 150 value on it, hitting those Corngores. It was just fat damage. And being able to fly around breath attack blobs as well as land on top of the enemies, potentially squishy lords, or even their little bit more stalwart stuff like the Doom Bull or Kazarak. You see Kazarak in this matchup sometimes. You know, the Bloodthirster can definitely beat all of those targets and isn't as vulnerable as Valkia is to getting blobbed on by the Beastman mobility, which can do really good work against Valkia. Butchers a Kalkengard can really mess her up. Bloodbrute Behemoth just comes in and ices her if she gets trapped on the ground. It's really rough, honestly, if your opponent's prepared. But not so this time, and Abdel just couldn't develop out any infantry onto the field. Like, the Skull Cannons got nice consistent damage over the course of that early game there on a lot of different units. Some Goreherd took some shots, Ungor Raiders got chipped down. Even some Ungor Spearmen aren't a bad target to shoot at, because you can do serious damage to chaff infantry with one Skull Cannon shot, and then you can fly in and just smack them with the Bloodthirster and rout them off. So, anyways, that's going to be it, guys. I hope y'all have enjoyed this one. Take care. Peace.